Welcome back, everybody, to Keys and Gears. I'm here with Bess Dickson, local real estate professional in Texas, Mark Liesner, local lender, mortgage broker here in Dallas. So what are we talking about today, Bess? We're talking about to homeowners, current homeowners. Whether you're thinking about selling your home, whether you are not thinking about selling, doesn't really matter because we want to talk about maximizing your value.
Yes.
Okay. So I think as a past real estate broker, I told my people at closing and throughout the process of owning, please call me before you make any kind of major decisions.
Amen.
Please call me because I want to make sure that you're maximizing the dollar you're investing, right? And so it came to mind that that might be a good topic for homeowners to hear from a professional about. So what are some recommendations that you have? Let's segment them into, something that's affordable versus something that's less affordable, more major renovation level kind of thing. Kind of segment the two, like preface it by saying this is, something that you can do on a weekend or, because Bess also has some experience renovating, so she's in great position to give you some great guidance on this. So let's hear it. How are we going to maximize our home value? Because in the long run, that's what we want.
Absolutely.
So.
All right. So we're talking about, we hit one for pennies, maximize for pennies.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's start with the best news first.
The best news first. Paint your front door.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for saying it. That was going to be first on my list.
Paint your front door.
Oh
yes.
my gosh. I actually, you know what? I'm going to take it a step further. I told my son the other day, when you own your first house, please clean your front door on a regular basis.
Oh, interesting.
Just cleaning the front door will make a difference.
So you're saying
think
mud
about,
daubers just are not a good accent
think about how many
to a
houses
front
you've walked
entry?
into where the front door is dirty,
Yeah.
especially in springtime when the pollen is blowing and it's literally not a brown wood door, it's a yellow door. Clean your front door. That alone will make a difference. But anyway,
Huge.
digress. So what do we do in terms of, are you talking about switching outdoors? Are you talking about painting them? Are you talking about, what are you talking about?
Simplest takeaway is make sure your front door, if your garage faces the street, it is imperative that your front door is not the same color as your trim and your garage doors.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because you want your front door, everyone wants to have a warm and welcoming home.
Right.
And part of that is a clear path to the front door. And if your front door is the same color as your garage, which way do you go?
Oh, I see.
Which way do you go?
That makes sense.
And especially if there are, there's some neighborhoods for a while, there was a trend when minimal lot line first came to be introduced as a high density concept, single family, but still close together, right? So not apartment, not duplex, but really no yard. That trend, the garage door is all that you see from the street,
right? Yes,
right?
Yes.
And so the front door is down a little path and around the corner. All the more important to make sure that front door is a different color.
Right.
Because you do kind of want the garage to disappear. So people are, in that case, the one house I'm thinking of in particular, so where is the front door? But
yeah. And, if you're going further into like changing the look of your house and wanting to change the front door completely, be aware that that's a very expensive endeavor. It's not a cheap fix.
It can be costly.
Because, you're going to have to probably redo the door frame, and you open a can of worms. So
if you don't want to just paint it, but you actually want to replace it, just be mindful. That would be a next level deal.
Get some bids, get various bids from different people.
Get a consultation, please, I beg of you, outside of the sweet people at the big box stores.
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
We've touched on this before. You will hear Mark and I touch on it many, many times. Do not select a design that's incongruent with the design of the house.
Amen.
Mark and I have both cried tears when you walk up to a beautiful 1908 cottage, and it has the 1975 to 85 metal front door with the
transom,
with the arched eyebrow glass insert that was really the hot thing for a while.
Right.
That home was up. The front was updated.
Yes.
With that. Oh, just makes
Not
me
congruent
kind of
with
shed
the
a crease.
style, yes.
It kind of makes me cry.
All right. So what else? So front door is an obvious one. Another one that comes to my mind is landscaping, but that's temporary, right? So that it can bring up value, can it? To do the landscaping, or is it just when you want to sell it? Is that really the only
For
time
sure.
you do?
No. Landscaping, if you have foundation plants, and the foundation plants are defined as those generally that are evergreen, that provide the frame, the background of your landscape story, right? Usually they're bushes,
like a boxwood
regimental
or something.
rows across the. More often than not, they are planted too close to the house, and so if you've been in your house 5, 6, 7 years and you find yourself constantly trimming them back away from the house, or shame on you if you're not constantly trimming them back, and you're saying, termites, please come eat my house. Please come eat my house.
Not a good maintenance idea. Not a good idea. Yes.
One of the biggest things you could do is to rip those out and plant in, whether you're going to be selling in 1 year or 5 years, is rip out those overgrown foundation plants that are touching your house and replant.
Right.
And the benchmark is, read the label, please, and if it says that the mature height or the mature width, is 3 feet or 4 feet, then that
4
means
feet away.
You want the trunk. You want the trunk to not be planted any closer to the house than like 10 inches in front of the drip line.
Yeah.
And
the
that
drip line from the roof is
from the
what
roof.
You're talking about. So
right. Yeah.
Big distinction.
That's actually, and people are like, oh, that's ugly. Hey, the pea gravel for $5 a bag looks fabulous between your house and your foundation plants.
The reason I brought up landscaping was I wasn't talking about the actual small plants and everything. I was talking more like the major landscaping up front. Because if you take a 5-year, 7-year, 10-year view of your house, where do you want it to be in that time frame? Because that's maybe when you're selling it. So you don't want to have to redo it at that point, because then it looks puny, right? So if you plant
it also
trees,
smells like a flip.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
and people don't like that, right? So have a long-term view of, what am I doing with this landscaping in view of I'm going to have to sell it at some point. So,
and good news. I mean, if you do have that, when you have that plan, that intentional plan for your landscape, you can save money, and that is you buy the 1 gallon plants and not the 5 gallon plants.
And there's
over
that 5 years.
Huge difference in cost.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Let
and you can
let
also
them grow. Give them time to grow, especially trees. How many times have I seen front yards without trees? And I'm like, if somebody had just stopped for a minute and said, I'm going to plant a tree here, even though it's small right now, in 10 years, 20 years, it'll be a beautiful tree, and whoever owns the house has a tree.
Just don't plant a Bradford pear.
Oh, gosh.
Please don't.
Yes.
No Bradford pears.
Right. Or hackberries or anything like that.
Well, hackberries are like dandelions. They just show up.
Yeah, I know, but some people are like in love with them. I just don't get it. Anyway, what else can we do? What about interior-wise? What are we doing there?
Okay, so we want to go inside?
Yeah.
Inside, obviously, paint is the easiest, fastest fix. And I might sound a bit contrarian. Painting your kitchen cabinets does not always fall in that category as a smart thing to do.
Okay. How so?
Not always a smart thing to do. If they are real wood cabinets, maybe the reason why you don't like them is because you don't like the wall color that's around them. Maybe you can't remember the last time you fed your wood cabinets.
Yes.
Is the varnish old?
Right.
Or were they oiled? Do they need to be freshly oiled?
Right.
Like, it's pretty amazing how just taking some basic care and love to your wood can totally change the deal. And going back to incongruent is the reason why you don't like your wood cabinets, because you picked a luxury vinyl plank floor that is gray.
Yeah.
And you've cut brown wood cabinets.
Right.
Or maybe the backsplash. Maybe just changing up the backsplash. Backsplash is, especially in kitchens, really inexpensive, quick, almost a weekend project fix, and it can make a world of difference. But circling back around, if you've got real wood cabinets, think long and hard before you paint them, because to paint them correctly is very expensive and very time consuming.
Yes.
There are other much more effective value return choices before you paint.
Okay. All right. So
one of the simplest, real quick, would be do your cabinets anywhere in your house? If do your cabinets have hardware? Do they have jewelry?
Right.
I think of it as jewelry for your cabinets.
I think we need to make this a 2-part series. So we're going to come back to maximizing your value right after this. But before we finish here, we want to talk about the picture of the week. What do we have here?
Yes, talk about details, and we no, they did not paint the front door.
Right. This looks like new construction.
It is. The house on the left is just is finishing up being built.
Like a Tudor style, right?
It is. It's a Tudor revival style. And what I really appreciated this builder doing was he poured the driveway with a retro,
old school
style, which was just simply a tread track.
Yeah.
Up to the back in the 20s and 30s, earlier when they did that, concrete was still a new phenomenon, if you will.
Expensive.
And it was expensive. Post-COVID, post-pandemic, it's expensive again.
Only wealthy people could afford concrete.
Right. And so, but I really appreciate his green global warming, if you 100%. Will, solution, which is he, instead of doing all concrete, he also put in between the tracks gravel, which allows the rain to go where it wants to, which is into the earth. And and it keeps it cooler. So it's a win across the board. I
was going to say, honestly, we need less concrete, not more concrete.
Less concrete.
Thank you for
everyone that complains about flooding.
Right.
Don't complain about flooding, and then also complain that we need more highways.
The water has nowhere to go.
Yes, water still needs a place to go. And so this was just bravo to this guy.
Good job.
He did a great job.
Bravo for that builder.
So you can have modern.
Yes.
You can have new build. And it can be quite effective and not cold.
We will see you on part 2 of this maximizing your home's value. So come back to us. Thanks for joining us this time. See you later.